Alright, welcome to Chapter 4, Building a Quality AML Program. So, what we need to create a good AML program, that's what we are going to see. So, let's check the universe of AML. In AML Universe, we need 3 of this to combat the money laundering together. Financial institutions, regulators who make the regulations, and law enforcement, right? So financial institutions, it doesn't really mean it doesn't always need to be bank. It can be individuals that, for example, individuals that doing the tradings, individuals, right? It can be businesses like what I share with you, autos, as and insurance companies and stuff like that, real estate companies, right? Basically, institution that dealing with the big money finance, right? Let's see how this universe works with an example. This is from this link, right? So we already knew that in the previous chapter about FATF as an international regulators. Oh, by the way, I think if you are interested with it, you should visit the website. It contains a lot of recommendations, a lot of best practices to combat money launderings, and all of those reports that I mentioned about the mutual evaluations, they posted online, so you can actually read it, right? Right. So international regulators, FATF. So Indonesia is a member of FATF. So as a member, Indonesia needs to comply with the regulations. So inside Indonesia, there is domestic regulators. In this case, we call it PPATK and OJK. Okay, these 2 regulators, in their regulations, they will try to comply with the recommendations of FATF. And there is law enforcement in Indonesia, right? This is a police department, this is kejaksaan department, which will be the action taker if someone or some entity do the money laundering. And there is a financial institutions. In this case, it's a bank, BCA. Okay, as a bank in Indonesia, it has to comply with Indonesia domestic regulators, which is the regulations is also part of the regulations of international regulators. And because BCA does business in USA, it also needs to comply with domestic regulation in USA, in this case USA Patriot Act. So I hope you can now understand the connection between those 3 entities, right? Regulators, financial institution, and law enforcement. So there are 5 pillars of AML program. First is internal policies and procedures. This designated compliance officer, independent audit functions, training, and customer due diligence. Let's take a look one by one. Internal policies and procedures. To enable the financial systems to conduct clean commercial business conforming to standards set by the industry, laws, and regulations of the country of governing authorities. Therefore, financial systems need to have policies and procedures. To report and take actions. What we gonna do upon detecting suspicious activities involving money laundering, and to make the employees and customers aware of the seriousness of the impact of money laundering activities, right? That's why every financial systems need to have policies and procedures related with money laundering, right? And last but not least, to train the staffs so that they can identify about money laundering or finance terrorism transactions. So let's see an example. Internal policy and procedures in HR department of the company, right? So we can create policies and procedures so that HR will conduct AML screenings when they want to hire new staffs, right? That's cool, right? And then so that HR can manage staff's due diligence. What is due diligence? We are going to check about that later, right? Next, to monitor staff transactions, right? Because money laundering, we need to monitor your transactions. To apply action or punishments if it's proven they do money laundering. And to arrange training program about money laundering. That's what policies and procedures that we can do in HR department. Designated compliance officer or CO, right? It's a department or it's a person's, right, in a company with this responsibility. So this person, he or she, needs to develop and maintain the training program of AML and to oversee training of the entire staff. So this is true because I've been requested to conduct online training in my current company about money laundering, and then the training was created internally. So in this case, it is managed by compliance officer. Right, to create AML policies and procedures. So those procedures is actually created by these persons or these departments to periodically review of the policies and to overview records keeping requirements. Okay, reporting for detecting of suspicious transactions, to do internal investigations or internal audits, reporting to local authorities if anything that happened related with money laundering, right? So company need compliance officer. Compliance officer will create the regulations and policies and procedures. Okay, the third pillar, independent audit functions. Internal audit is an independent body which shall test whether financial system has effectively followed the AML CFT regulations. So we hire an independent organizations to conduct an audit so we can see how strong our money laundering or CFT regulations. Do we up to date with the current trends or not, right? To get the feedback and improve the regulations. So key components of an independent AML audit, as you can see here, right? Examining the company's AML program, reviewing internal AML policies and procedures, reviewing the policy regarding filing CTRs and SRRs, reviewing ongoing monitoring methods, reviewing transactional evaluation and testing procedures, accessing the customer identification program, evaluating the AML training, and examining previous audit reports. Right, so this is the key components of the internal independent AML audit. Right. So let's see the fourth pillar. The fourth pillar is training. So training is to develop, overhauling, reviewing the AML training program. So this is a copy from AML India website, right? What is the objective of AML or CVT training, right? The objective is to understand what is AML, right? And what is the framework of the AML, to comprehend and implement internal AML program, to understand what is your duties in your department towards AML, have a basic knowledge of machine learning, money laundering, typologies, alright? Identify the transaction related to money laundering or terrorism financing. Promptly report the identified machine. Why I keep saying machine learning? Promptly report the identified money laundering or terrorism financing suspicions. So this trainings for empowering employees, right? And then every companies, including new joiners, need to do this training, right? So the fifth pillar is customer due diligence, or in short is CDD. CDD is the process of identifying and verifying the identity of your customer. Identifying and verifying. There's a term called beneficial ownerships, as the person who has ultimate controls over the funds in the account. Okay, so I will explain why this is important. So about the CDD process itself, we are going to explore it deeper in the next chapter. So why do we need to identify and verify? If you have a client, right, they say want to open an account or want to conduct a business partnership with you, these clients maybe will looks clean, right? It looks okay, but we don't know that actually behind him there is someone who has ultimate controls over the funds of his or of his business, which is this person's doing the money laundering. We don't know, right? So that's why we need a strong CDD systems, right, to detect if there is a beneficial ownerships that might potentially be a money launderer. Right, so I put some study case that you can read here about money laundering. This is from a bank in Dutch, right? And this is about a company in Singapore that failed to do internal audit, and then the law enforcement find that because they have a weak money laundering check, they don't improve it, they get a very heavy funds, that they get a very heavy penalty or fine. That's what I try to say with you. Okay, that's it for the fourth chapter. We are going to the last chapter.